Okay, guys, I'm back. Hopefully, it's better. Finding out, I guess I'm not supposed to use my headphones. They're not really compatible, but I'm gonna see what's going on with the problem. It's always some audio technical difficulties of my way. I don't know why. But yeah, let's get this started. Man, shut up. Crazy. Just waiting for her to come in. It's just always something like either my Wi-Fi messed up or headphones messed up.
Am I
But
on? Where'd
we
you
get a fabulous
go?
over here, so it doesn't really matter. So we're just trying to get this on the road here. That's what we do over here.
Alright, there we go.
I know, finally.
I'm sitting here like, is it me? But ain't no
No,
telling.
it was me. Like I don't know. It's just my area since they've been doing construction. Like it's just be a bad connection with everything. Like I don't. I know I owe some of my Wi-Fi bill, but saying I paid the red. I don't pay the black. I pay the red. So other than that, I'm just I'm just happy to have you come back.
Like,
How you been?
shoot, everything's good on my end. Everything is everything. How have you been? I mean, I've been watching, but how have you been?
Man, I've been under so much scrutiny.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody stole my identity and try to, get money and all this other stuff. So I had like at least like 20, 25 inboxes from people and they just like, is this you and all this other stuff? And I'm like, no, like this ain't,
Yeah.
shoot. Because if anything, like, you know, I asked for donations on the show, you know what I'm saying? Because outside of that, I ain't no broke ass nigga. So I just like, man, like, I really felt
Hmm.
bad because a lot of people, got scammed. But I just feel bad because it's my name and my
Right.
face out there. But I'm not in no position to bless anybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm blessing people with my content, with my show. Other than that, I wish it was something that I could do, but I can't.
Yeah, and I know I won't say firsthand what that feels like, but I know what it feels like to work hard and have some shit taken. Because I know, and it's funny, this was within the last week. Somebody hacked my business account. They didn't get a lot of money, but they got in it. And I just came to the conclusion, man, if they ain't targeting you, you ain't doing something right. Because, sometimes
Yeah,
things like this are designed to get us down and make us be like, you know what, fuck it or forget it. Forgot you do cuss on your show, but we get to that level of fuck it, and nah, it's time to use that fuel towards something else. It's too easy. It's really too easy slash too hard to give up at this point. Like we all need our own. We all gotta win. And I really hate that you're going through that. But minor setback for a major comeback. I see you didn't went and got your paperwork. I see you starting to develop a paper trail. I saw your you went to did you get your LLC or did you get your name trademark?
yeah, I got all that.
Yeah, I see you doing what you got to do. So
But that's pretty old. I had that since January,
got you.
but it was just like a lot of people was thinking that I was capping, but you know, my head big. I don't
Got
cap.
you.
You know what
Got
I'm
you.
saying?
Okay.
Because I can't find the right size hats and everything. But
Okay, that
I
makes
just
sense.
playing.
Got you.
But yeah, I'm finna pretty much rebrand and everything. So it's gonna be the 1804 show chapter 2 next
Okay.
month. So, but you know, I might as well like just start off from scratch and this and that because it just because I can't get into my business
Mhm.
page because of them. So might as well just start over. You know, you live and you learn. You know, I was just being a little carefree a little bit. You know, I don't know who did it because this pretty much been going on since Saturday
Got you.
night, and it just really been a bummer because some of the episodes I couldn't even upload them to my YouTube channel based off that because they still on my regular page.
Mm,
So I just gonna have to re-interview people, you know. But it's all good, you know. I love everybody, you know. When y'all come and show me love, we
yeah.
family. You know, we got an unbreakable bond
You know, it ain't
anyway.
no problem to come back, especially if we've been rocking with you, you know, regardless. So, like I said, minor setback for a major comeback, and ain't nothing wrong with rebranding. It may be sooner than you wanted it to, but damn it, it happened for a reason. So, you only come back harder from here,
Yeah, no
for
doubt, no
sure.
doubt. I don't know if you notice anything. I have glasses now because the first one I was blind as hell. Like I couldn't see. My eyes was
So the
like
funniest shit,
so.
last show I had my glasses on. I lost them since then. So we making it work.
Oh wow. I know this was like the
Yes, it
reverse, huh?
is. Yes, it is. I was sitting here like somebody could be like, didn't she have on glasses? Yeah, I did. Ain't no something where they
Man,
at.
that's the worst thing. And that's the worst feeling because like you gotta have somebody else find your shit for you, and then they can't find your shit. The ones who can see, then you like, damn, it's a wrap. You know, it's crazy. But how you been since the last episode?
Things have been well. I have everything for me is mental. So everything is fine, but deep in, I'm just the overthinker. And this pandemic being at its very end and us finally starting to get a little bit of freedom, you know, kind of gets the best of you
Hmm.
because it's like you want to do so much, but you may either be financially limited or you may be working heavily or, you know, you just have different things that you need to attain. So, you know, the fact that we can go outside, having a hard time containing myself and focusing on, you know, what's important and what, you know, will help me get to the next thing. And I had a moment where I had to sit down and, you know, be like, hey, I understand you want a vacation. I understand you want to do all this stuff, but so does the rest of the world. Not even the country, but the world, you know. So I've really been humbling myself and just, you know, preparing for my future and then preparing for when it is my time to start traveling. But outside of that, what is new? I start school next month. Uh,
Oh,
I thank
congratulations!
you. Last year I had an unfortunate situation where somebody got into me and my mom's joint account and they got me for about $4,000. That was my tuition for school last year. So yeah, I get it. um, so I spent a lot of time trying to regroup, you know, save some money, go to school so I don't have to pay for it out of pocket. I mean, so I can pay for it out of pocket and not take out loans. And I feel like it's now or never because I'm not excited for it, but I know I got to get it done, and that's great because when you feel like that, you can't fuck it up. You just ready to get it done and do what you need to do to get to the next thing. So, that has changed. That's pretty much it. Just trying to get to the money.
Oh shoot, ain't nothing wrong with that. Like me too. I've been just nonstop and just trying to, you know, get myself together and stuff. Got 3 jobs, so I just be
Mhm.
100 miles of running. You know, I don't take breaks and everything, but I do because I remember you suggesting how I take care of myself
Mhm.
mentally because it's a lot to absorb and digest. So I picked up exercising and stuff like that. You know, I lost
I can
weight
tell. I
and
ain't want to
stuff.
say it. I ain't want to ask, and then you be like, no. But I see it. It was
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So thank you. You know, I'm just because I was sick, so I had like allergic reaction or something. So that's why I like over here and this and because you know I'm like clear skin all day, but I'm going through a little detox right now. But other than that, I'm just really happy. You know, just been enjoying this and journey that's been embarking
Hmm.
and stuff. So I'm just glad that you fine because I remember like the last episode we talked about your toxic ex
Yeah.
relationship, last relationship, and I got in a lot of numbers off that. You know, a lot of people had came up to me was like, "Man, that was so deep, man. Like you be making me cry on your shit." I'm like, man, I just trying to keep it
Hmm.
real. You know what I'm saying? Because like a lot of people just think that you don't go through anything. You know, a lot of people just think like, and I just tell them like, hey, don't let whatever fool you.
Hmm.
Like, especially when I'm just like, you know, doing well and trying to stay focused. That's when like you're gonna be tested the
Hmm.
most when you on like a better path. And I just, recommend anybody and everybody to get some counseling because there's nothing wrong with that
Yes.
because we've been so programmed to think that we bigger than that and we need to keep stuff in the family or keep whatever happens in the house stays in the house type
Hmm.
thing, but we need to break that
Yes,
cycle.
we do.
It's a bad way and a bad thing to teach your children, you know what I'm saying? And I want my children to always come to me and then we can like prevent a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? Especially when I become a father,
Hmm.
I will always want my children to be comfortable with talking to me.
Right. Regardless of what it
So,
is.
right, because it just, nowadays, you are called a liar before anybody, even gets to the truth,
Hmm.
and that's not fair, and people wonder why these kids is running amok, or acting like some savages because it's like, when I did try to console you and talk to you, I got ignored. I got
Hmm.
vanquished, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? And that's what can lead to a lot of trouble. And that's why I try to, make sure like whenever like my nieces call me and stuff, I listen to them. And even though it'd be like, a lot of imaginary pixie dust and tea parties and shit like
Yeah.
that. Like, you hear me, Uncle Will? And I'm like, yeah, I heard you. And I'm like, oh my god, like it's so
But it make a
boring.
difference. It makes such a difference. I swear.
Yeah, it does. And it's still be boring, but I just like, but I just miss those moments. Just when you are able to, enjoy that innocence,
Yes.
because I think all of us has been affected, whether we know it or not. Just by the Eastern BC thing that we exposed to.
Hmm.
Because I tell people, when they like, man, like you smoke so much, like you need to quit smoking. And I'm like, well, I've been infected. You know what I'm saying? I've been exposed to it. And it's like we so quick to tell people how to behave or how to engage without knowing what led them down that
Hmm.
path in the first place. Because me, I was such a good kid. I didn't curse, I didn't fight, I didn't do none of that. But it just was like when like the world, just abandoned me. I was left to fend for
Right.
myself. So you got to do what you got to do to survive. And I just always tell people this, like, you can't judge of what you don't understand. And I just a big advocate on just healing.
Yes.
You gotta heal yourself before you get into a new relationship. You know, because that's not fair to the next person. Because that's how you correct victims. That's how good people become, bad.
Yeah.
And that's a
Hurt
cycle.
people hurt people.
And shoot, now I'm just to the point where I can't afford to be that hurt person. Like, you gonna get hurt fucking with me.
You know I know how
I'm
that
a good
feels. You
guy,
know I
nice.
understand.
Yeah, and I'm a good guy. I'll be chilling. I'll be by my own business. I don't be trying to look for blood or look for trouble and everything. But it just seems like, I attract damage, and I'm tired of that. Because I let her know off rip. You know what I'm saying? Because you always gotta pay attention to the red flags. Red flags are always visible. But we so like quick to need somebody to the point that we ignore them. And she was, especially when somebody, call you something derogatory, then that's the first sign right there. Because you don't respect me enough to call me or address me by my first name, then I don't need to deal with you.
Right. Now, I'm going to start with 2 because originally I was going to share 2. It's about to turn into 3 based off what you just said. But I'm going to hold off for now. But I've had 2 conversations recently, almost targeting exactly what you just said. And the first one was someone asking me, really it was venting. And it turned into me understanding, because they basically were like, the problem that I run into is that I tell myself that helping people makes me happy until I'm exhausted, until there's an actual problem. And that's something that someone has also asked me, what makes you happy? And I'll say it all day. I love making people happy. But sometimes I ain't gonna lie, I get tired of that shit. And this is why. It's not that I'm tired of, being that strong person for people. And it's not that, I won't even just say but we as caring people expect something in turn. But it's when you're sacrificing. And that's what we kind of don't realize when we're inside or when we're dealing with something. So, as an example, I could fuss all day about you wearing red hats that are dirty as hell. And I'm not saying that your hat's dirty, but I'm just like, I could be like, I'm
I know
sick
what
of
you
this nigga
mean.
wearing these dirty ass hats, and I don't understand why he wears them. But then I'm washing them. But then I'm buying another dingy ass, not even a hat that I think is clean, that's red, that might look good on you. And then here I am also aiding everything that I don't like to try to make it. And at that point, are you making it better for yourself, or are you making it better for the person that you're dealing with? And oftentimes within that transaction, we give up a little bit of who we are or what we like to sacrifice what that person wants. And then once we're super unhappy and we don't understand why, we look at all the shit we put to the side. And it's like, oh, that nigga was wearing them hats 10 years ago. Why you just, why you care now? Or why is it all of a sudden a breaking point? Or why is it that you're so unhappy? But it's because you went, and a hat is minor, but apply that to, let's be real. We'll apply it to maybe your man can't save money. Your woman is wasteful. Maybe she, has a different definition of flirting versus, having a conversation. But we put that shit to the side. We really do. And in our minds, we don't like it, but we let it pass and hope that things will get better. When in reality, we don't nip it in the bud. And that's just having a kind heart. And that's also, I won't even just say having a kind heart. That's being uncertain within yourself. And that's not being true to yourself. Because I know if I ordered a McChicken and somebody hand me a McDouble, it's a problem. So why can't I do the same thing in my friendships, relationships, family relationships? And
Exactly.
that's where it's hard and it becomes gray area for us because we don't see it. And of course you have that person in your ear or your friend's family in your head, that ain't right, you doing this, but you don't want to hear because you don't see it. And it's one of those things that's very, very intuitive and deep. And sometimes we don't want to accept it ourselves. So yes, we push it off, or we're going to give it a little bit more time to see how this plays out. Because at the end of the day, when you give it a little more time to see how it plays out, are you really caring about if you getting played? Are you waiting to hope that, in hopes that I'm wrong? Prove me wrong. And then when we get proven wrong, we sit there and what the hell happened? Nah, nigga, you got them signed, you know. And it's so hard. It's so hard to find that common denominator. But once we find self-actualization and self-realization as Black people, as people in general, it's like with Black people, it's like we're taught. And that's something that we have to remove from what we've learned. And that's what life is about. It's about unlearning shit that you learn. But as Black people, we have endured and withstood so much. And rather than say, fuck this shit, I'm tired, we keep fighting. And I'm not saying that as, you know, in a movement, but just in general. I mean, from being a kid, you've heard all your life, you too tired to be tired. You too young to be tired. You ain't stressed, you ain't got nothing going on. And that's one thing I admire about my mother. Because we didn't get that. We didn't get the you're too tired too. Well, what's going on? Like you can only imagine what stress is for someone. And this all, like I said, ties back into that, well, why am I so serving of others but myself? Because we've been taught, ain't nothing wrong with you. We've been taught, you know, basically this too shall pass. And on a biblical note, you learn love thy neighbor, turn the other cheek, and as you should to certain things. But not when it comes to the breaking point of your peace and your sanity. You know what I'm saying? Like at what point can Black people finally say fuck it? And that's what this kind of boils down into. And it channels into our personal relationships. It channels into our friendships, because at the end of the day, it also ties into communication. But how do you know how to talk when you've been taught to be mute? And that's the first part. So that was the first conversation that I had with someone.
And I would love to elaborate on that as well. And I think a lot of us grew up in a narcissistic household and didn't realize it, because what you just said, you know, we put so much on other people to the point that we neglect us, and that's codependency. Yep. You know, a whole lot of codependency going on, because I was like that coming up. I don't think my mom realized that she was programming me to be like that. But also, when I stayed with my grandmother, with her mother, I really realized to the point, like, damn, like, you know, she was raised like she raised me. So we go into, you know, the adulthood and the parentinghood and this and that, repeating those same traits, and to the point that we damage the next generation and their generation. So I had to, you know, literally break out of that, because I didn't have any confidence, because nobody ever told me I was good enough for anything, or, you know, was like my sponsorship or none of that, you know. So I had to believe in myself to the point that I had to, you know, take a leap of faith on my own and out here. And, you know, it sucks, you know, because a lot of people just think because you're a certain age that you're supposed to know these things and eradicate certain things. And, you know, just like a lot of men out here who don't know how to drive, don't know how to shave, don't know how to put a, you know, change a tire and everything. That's not their fault. You know, it's just the fact that, you know, you got to be shown these things. You know, you got to be taught these things, you know. And I'm not knocking anybody who's raising boys, but, you know, he always going to get the 50% percentage of, you know, life. But a man gotta teach a boy how to become a man, you know, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
mentors and big brother programs are for. Because I was lucky enough to have mentors. I was lucky enough to have just, you know, old drunks on the corner and stuff like that. Like, stay in school, don't be like me. Like,
You
you damn
damn
right, I ain't
right,
be
right.
like you, you know. But it just, you know, that's really
Yeah,
important because it's like, you know, it's really different. You know, it's I would say, you know, I can only speak as a
right.
black man, you know, but I know it's hard on both sides of the spectrum, but it's just the fact like when you're young, when you know having puberty and you know you get that first deep voice, you know, you get that you know first you know little patch of mustache and this and that. So that's where you really need it. You know, I say as far as a father, that's
Mm-hmm.
when a father is really needed to a young man. But we don't really get that because we was always told that our fathers wasn't shit. He didn't care about us. He left us, you know, to rot and all this other stuff. And it's just, you know, it's really hard, you know, especially when you're, you know, going to school and all your friends, you know, engaging in sex and this and that. So you get laughed at, you know what I'm saying, when you considered a virgin, you know what I'm saying, to a boy, you know what I'm saying, it's tough, you know, because kids are mean, you know what I'm saying, and I had to go through that myself, you know, but I understand now, like, as the age of 33, you know, I realized that even though it took me a long time to venture off and leave the nest and this and that, I'm glad I did. You know, some people never leave. And some people never got the chance to experience the real world. You know, there's a lot of people don't even know that, you know, this little small town, little Saginaw and this and that, like, it's so small until they go to like, you know, Grand Rapids,
Yeah,
Detroit, Lansing, and all that other stuff. But I was fortunate enough to and just really go into like different parts of the United States and meet people and just really like see like dang like it's a big world out here. But when you stagnated and when you are being programmed to have this type of fear, this type of um just this instinct like dang,
yeah.
you know, but you can continue. I'm
Well, to
done.
kind of piggyback off what you said, I will say within the relationship that I'm in now, I definitely see firsthand what it's like because I can't say I'm experiencing it, but I see how hard it is for black men for real. Like when you actually are dealing with a man or woman, mainly black men, um, I hate to say it, but you know, we're already born naturally with three strikes against us based off our skin color. But with black men, I feel like it's four. I mean, and don't let you have, you know, an exotic name. Don't let you have the darkest of skin. Like at that point, you are monitored and limited. It's almost like you're born blacklisted. Things are so difficult. And, you know, at one point in my life, I'd be like, I work hard. I just don't understand. But nah, I see you really got to sneak through the cracks, slip through the cracks as a black man to get where you want to be. And unfortunately, you kind of got to take the shit for as long as you can until you get what you want. And that is not fair. And that kind of goes back into what you said also about, you know, women also having fathers. That is so important and so imperative. And of course we see it firsthand based off of like we're from Saginaw, you know, when there's only limited people or a small amount of people, you get to see the majority of the bullshit. And that's the difference with a place like here in Nashville. I mean, of course there's still bullshit, but there's so many people, you know, you can only catch so much at a time. So at
Mm-hmm.
the out the hand or out of the mouth that yes, black fathers are not as present or prevalent in certain areas, you also get to see that big turnaround of black men who are. And for women such as myself and my big sister, we did grow up fatherless. I will say that kind of turned into that turned me into the kind of person that I was when I was dating the wrong people. And it's funny, this is the second conversation. I just had it with my mom. She was here last week from LA. And I told her, you know, back in the day, from the abusive situation that we, you know, talked about in the last meeting to really anyone except for where I am now, I always ended up, and it's funny, I always ended up complaining or nagging about how somebody was bullshitting in some area, and it never worked out. But after I left, then people got on their shit and they did what they needed to do to be who they are today. And I'm not putting that on, you know, 100% me, but I've had people come back and I received the message that you were saying once I had to go out there and get it on my own. Once, you know, and maybe it was once you wasn't nagging and I could think, it could have been that. Like, I'm not going to say it wouldn't. But I at one point thought, this is such bullshit. How come people always get better after? Why do people get to reap the benefits of the hell that I went through? Type shit, you know.
Right.
And that's where, like I said, the sacrifices that we make, and when we say, you know, when am I really unhappy? We gotta start saying that shit then and there, because yes, I feel like I have, as a Black woman, groomed a lot of young Black boys. I'm not gonna say a lot, a couple of young Black boys into men, and I'm more than happy. And at the end of it, it was never like, damn, I should have stayed. I'm happy for you, 10,000,000% happy, because this is all, I didn't want this for me, I wanted it for you. And that's when I learned you're gonna always get run over like this, Justice, if you just want to keep helping people in this entity, because you're not dating for happiness, and you are finding broken people because you're looking for broken people. And I mean, for me, I'm the oldest, and as hard as it is for a Black man, I will say it's hard as hell for a Black woman, the oldest Black daughter, let me say that, especially when your younger siblings are boys or young men. There is so much pressure, and I told my mom this too. It wasn't intentional pressure. It wasn't to be like, I'm on your ass, you know, but that's kind of what it comes off as. And when you look back at it and you see what your brothers get away with, or the younger siblings get away, ain't that some shit? Let that happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fiery, but I mean, all of that to say, I became this strong, independent, and I watched my mom lose things bit by bit based from men, off of a man, off the strength of a man. And I always told myself, that can never happen to me. That can never happen to me. I don't care what happens to me, that can't. And that's when I got my abusive situation. And as a person who didn't have a father, and as a person who, even at a young age, when my mom started dating like my brother's father, it was always like, oh yeah, you cool. You ain't my dad though. What up, nigga? You know, keep it casual. Like, I don't have that respect for nobody. I mean, I respect you for being my brother's parents or whatever role you're playing in our lives, but it cuts right here, because I already don't have this. And I don't need nobody thinking that this is, you know, what it is. So with all of that, it just made it extremely difficult for me to date, because certain stuff was like, nope, I refuse. But then at the same time, because I watched my mom sacrifice and struggle and do things on her own, I sometimes looked at it as, that's okay at times, because we are trying to get somewhere at the end of the day. And that's where I was wrong as hell. So, you know, having to unlearn what you grew up seeing or enduring is very important. Because out the same breath, as I was dating my abusive, toxic situation, and I didn't have my father, I started, and I said this on the last interview as well, I was dating, and y'all will get what I'm saying when I say it, I was dating my father while getting to know my father. So I let this man in to try to, you know, get to know who my dad is. Come to find out, this gonna sound nasty, I'm fucking him. Like, when I look at it, I mean, he would tell me the things that he would be willing. He's going to flip this money. It's going to turn into drug money. But, you know, whatever the case may have been, he was spot on. But then out the same breath, when I would get into it with my father, my abusive ex would try to come and help. He'd make it more painful. And then maybe when I'm going through it with him, I talk to my dad. And they're both like reading each other. telling me what the next one's gonna do, how it's gonna be. And then it got to the point of, I think my car broke down and I needed a catalytic converter. And I was willing to pay for it, but of course my dad was like, I want to help. And we had some disagreement. And what was the first thing that was said to me? Ask that nigga that broke your jaw for some money. I ain't break your car. Ask that nigga. And, you know, then and there, it was like, you know what? This is exactly what I be talking about. Like, how is it that the man that helped bring me into this world, I can easily just, because we're on the phone, hang up the call, be done, block, whatever. But I can't get rid of the baby version of him that's right in front of my face. And it comes from that internal, I didn't have this person. And if I could help that person the way that I'm helping you, I would. And my dad, on and off drugs, might be currently. I mean, I hope not, but it, you know, it fucks with you to a point where you kind of feel like almost it's deserved. Like, I didn't have this person, and if this is how it's going to be with me trying to have him, maybe this is how it was supposed to go. And of course it's not. But that's, again, where we go in and change what we want. We alter our realities and dreams because somebody else can't get their shit together, or because somebody else is misunderstood. And it's not our job to help them understand that. However, if as a person that likes to heal or see change and help people, it is our job to help you say, hey, you bullshitting or you fucking up. But at that point, you can call it out and leave it at that. But we get too invested. And that's the thing too. When a person sees how much you're willing to give before having to earn it, why not keep taking it? If your job giving you an extra $200 a check, you're not gonna tell them until it's caught, or until, you know what I'm saying. And then at that point, when it's caught, when you're in a relationship, it turns into, well, I've been doing it for so long, why is it a problem now? You know, and that's when it turns into raising. And that's for men and women. We didn't come into these relationships, friendships to raise nobody, unless you got kids. You know what I'm saying? That's not what we're here for. And with me being the oldest, I look at my brothers as my kids to a degree. They're my brothers, but I helped raise them. So I kind of have that premature maternal instinct because I've been doing this since I was 5. And we never know how to turn that off because it's just how we naturally are and who we naturally are. And unfortunately, as bad as my shit was, and for those that maybe didn't tune in then, just to kind of recap, in April of 2017, I was in a really, really bad altercation. My jaw was fractured top and bottom. I was punched in the face, jaw snapped clean. I went through a month of my mouth being wired shut. So at that time, I was like 93 pounds. I dropped to like 80, 75 with the quickness, just because it would shit on me as it was. But that's something to this day. It's not really as triggering as it was before, but it's something that is a constant reminder of where I can't go back to. And unfortunately, because of all the shit that I went through, I guess it's fortunately, since I refuse to ever go through it again, I'm just kind of cutthroat. Or once I see something that's some bullshit, hey, like that's how I had to learn, unfortunately. The shit that I'm preaching is because it took for, and it didn't take for the man to break my jaw, because I stayed. And it happens, and I don't judge people that do. I call myself a dumbass, but I won't call you one. And it's just because once you're out of it, you literally see everything. Like, how did I miss this? And to this day, I mean, as fucked up as it is, I have a constant reminder. To me, I feel like I don't smile the same. Let other people tell it I do, whatever. But it took literally for me to be in a hospital bed. I almost sacrificed pledging. I'm an AKA, for those who don't know. It resulted in me having to pledge with my mouth wired shut. Like, that was embarrassing. Crossing my mouth wired shut. In my opinion, it altered relationships within my sorority because people felt bad for me. I didn't want people's sympathy. Like, even though I was a victim and didn't want to be a victim, I didn't want to accept that shit. So I kind of steered clear from people just because I don't know what your true intentions are. And, you know, with me being an AKA, there's a lot of us. So it was just too many people to try to decipher who's genuine and who's not. And that's just a recap of that story. I have been through much, much more. I've had to fake unconscious to get people to not choke me. I've had to, I fought back. And I'm not proud of that. But first and foremost, a 93 or 90-pound person going after somebody 130, 140. And it ain't even about, how strong or how big you are. But as man and woman, that mass was such a difference. And I remember when the aggression started. I started it. I will say that. And it was one of those things where something that seemed so minor resulted in something so big in over a 4-year span. When my jaw was broken, I did not initiate the first hit, but whenever I would get hurt, the reaction or response was always, well, don't you wish you didn't start it, basically? Like, this is on you. If you hadn't hit me that first time,
Wow.
this wouldn't happen today, 3-4 fucking years later. So again, just to give you all the backstory, I say all that to say, when a person knows how much you're willing to help and what kind of heart you have, and they don't have to earn it or gain respect for it, of course, like I said, they're gonna keep taking and keep taking, and you will lose people in the process. And not because they don't care about you, but they can't see you go through it. I didn't lose, but at the time I lost my mom, who was the closest to me, my grandfather, that's my father figure. That's my world. To let him down. If y'all ever heard the song Let Nas Down, that's how I felt about my granddad when I let his ass down. Like, damn. And all these years later, I mean, I'm glad I can smile and talk to y'all, about it. But it's definitely one of those things that people don't take serious at all. And I, to this day, women that know what I went through will still come to me and, man, my nigga got me mad. I beat his ass. Did y'all not learn from me? Like, did y'all? And then
No,
even when my
no.
mouth was wired shut, I tell myself that God made me shut up. He made me listen. Like, all I could do was listen. And I would hear so many women, so many girls disrespecting their boyfriends because they got the wrong type of fucking sandwich meat on their sandwich. And I'm sitting here getting at that time I'm getting hands put on me for saying the wrong fucking thing. For doing nothing. And I can just to hear, and then to also hear, well, I got brothers, I got this. We gotta stop doing that shit too, because you're just gonna go right back to him or her.
Mm-hmm.
Quit getting these people involved if you don't want to see change. And it's easier said than done. When I was going through what I went through, I was a talking book, and it wasn't because I felt like it needed to be said. I couldn't control it. When you hold in so much like that, I don't care what nobody says, it's gonna seep out or peep out some kind of way. And I kid you not, if I had met you during that time, within 20 minutes talking to me, you would have knew everything that happened to me. And I would have been laughing talking to you about it. And that's the scary part, because you just never know, like you said, what somebody is going through. And even through the wiring, people to this day still don't really know what happened. People thought that I had got a dental surgery done, because the school I went to Tennessee State. I'd be damned if I walked on campus with all them Memphis folks with my mouth wired shut, because they cracked jokes. I was too sensitive at that time for that. So I did take like a leave from schools, like 2-3 weeks. But took that time. I had an alibi and got to keep pushing with life. But to actually live in your truth and finally accept, this shit did happen. This shit is fucked up. But look at how far you've come today. Look at, where you are. And that turns into the third thing. So when my mom was here, my little brother asked me, and he actually asked it before, but he brought it back up while she was here. He was like, Justice, do you ever feel like, first he asked me, am I comfortable? And I kind of knew where he was going, but I wanted to play dumb. I wanted him to explain to me what he meant. So I'm like, Nigga, yeah, I'm comfortable. I'm in my house, being goofy. Nah, fool. Are you comfortable with life? Are you comfortable with this? And I looked at him. Fuck no. Like, what? And he's looking at me like, and how are you not? Or how are you uncomfortable? Look at all that you have. And not even saying that what I have is the pinnacle, but he's like, you showed me and Chris, my youngest brother, that there's a way. And he told me also, and this is something that's probably gonna stick with me for the rest of my life. In so many words, he said, out of anything that life hands you, you turn around, no matter how fucked up it is, you turn around and make it beautiful some kind of way. And I had to try not to cry when he said it. He was like, seriously, you could get handed some bullshit and you turn shit into sugar. We don't know how you do it, but you do. And he also was just like, I told him I wanted to leave a legacy to a degree. When all is said and done, I want to be immortal to my kids, my family. I want to leave something, because how many generations have gone on and nothing was passed down? And that's not just in my family, but
Right.
any family. So yes, I want to continue something. And he told me, you already did that. You've already inspired 2 people. I should have just cried during the conversation. But he's like,
No,
you've left
no.
such an impact just on 2 people alone. And this is not to put, to brag on myself or give myself accolades. This is to the people out there that are going through the same thing, or just going through trying to find your dreams. I mean, I didn't expect to be a business owner. To this day, I'd be like, what the fuck did I get myself into? But, for the person that is going through that or questioning themselves, you done impacted somebody some kind of way already. And
Yeah.
even if it is so small, whether it's a kid at church, whether it's a woman you helped walk across the street, whether it's, showing your perseverance and strength through a super messed up, circumstance, whether it's through a loss, through anything, you have people looking up to you, and that's not to be used as pressure or as a flame lit under your ass. That's literally to show you, hey, you at where you're supposed to be right now, and you going at your own pace. Don't let social media, because this Facebook shit, I could have gotten in a really, really, really bad wreck and got a nice car out of the deal. But of course, what are niggas gonna do? Post that nice ass car. They might post the wreck for sympathy, but with all that being said, you don't know what it took to get that. You don't know, like, you only get to see the benefits on social media. You don't get to see the time span. You don't get to see the hours cried because your damn business account got hacked, as an example, or some shit like that. You don't get to see that. You just get to see the polished version. And oftentimes, even with our relationships, like, you see, example, people were in love with Quavo and Sweetie. And I don't have like
Mhm.
inspirational crushes or couples like that, but to a degree, I was kind of like, they seem the most solid. And I don't even follow stuff like that, but just off what I was hearing, they seem pretty solid. And then you see what happens. You just never fucking know. And you
No.
cannot base your future, your destiny, your dreams, your passion off anything that you see other than what you are promoting and presenting for yourself. Um,
Correct.
because the people that do matter and the people that do count, them the people you didn't already made a difference or impacted. They already believe in you. They already following you. They know what's real. But don't let, especially, and I ain't saying it like that, but especially in Saginaw. And I say that because I've had people tell me, or to a degree, like, you think you so and so. Black people, we got to get out this crab in the bucket shit, because in general, just because somebody make it out of Saginaw, because somebody makes it out of fucking Gary, Indiana, after wherever, that don't mean they a sellout. Let niggas live. Let niggas live. You know what I'm saying? And even back to these relationships, like, we're so busy comparing and counting what ain't ours to count. And this turns into, some of those abusive and toxic relationships too, because now you're setting expectations that don't nobody have, because you based it off a damn meme. Wasn't even what somebody really said. They shared a meme and you thought they was just living this fantasy world when in reality they about to move in with you. They about to, come reap off what you got. But because you made yourself available or because you fell for the social media hype, here we are. Like, we gotta let people be people. And I will say that even with the new relationship I got in, I had to accept, one, don't come in here with expectations. Two, people are human. Like, I had got
Yeah.
to a point where after my abusive situation, if you sneeze the wrong direction, I'm done fucking with you. I don't care who you are. And that's not fair because, as you said, that's not healed. Why should
Mm-mm.
I chastise you for sneezing? Nigga, we all sneeze. Like, whether it's ugly, whether it's in another language, nigga, you had to let that out some type of way. And God bless you because your heart could have stopped. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, it is what it is. But we
It's funny though. It's funny because I sneeze like that little mouse. People be like, "Damn, that was you," and I'm like, "Yeah, that was me."
I remember in my Arthur Hill days, there was this boy in class, when he would sneeze, you would have thought he bust out in tears or something. Like, every time you look back, like, what the fuck? Just don't sneeze no more, bro. Go in the hall. Like, what is this? But just as an example, like, you're not gonna really be mad at this person for letting out a natural body function. And it's the same thing when it comes to these relationships. Like, allow people to be human, but also don't accept it just because they're human. Like, okay, we can go out to eat, and I'm a 50-50 person, and I'll probably lose a lot of women after saying that, but I'm real 50-50. Prices is going up, things are expensive, and I'm sorry, like, if I'm going on a date with you, I'm not really going for how much was spent. I'm going for the experience. So I don't mind putting in on a good experience. That's just me. And during those, times and dates, you sit there and think, oh, they did this. You just kind of make a note, but that don't mean that they're wrong. It just may be something you don't agree with. And where we mess up is that we try to take what we don't like and fix it as if it's broken. And that's where we lose people, because now, who are you really dating? If I gotta mold
Right.
you, don't get me wrong, there may be a couple of fundamental steps that we all grow through together, but if I have to change who you are or change a main component of what makes you you, why am I dating you? And that ties
Man,
into,
thank
yeah,
you.
seriously, and it turns into,
Thank
some
you.
people are just scared to be alone. But ain't nothing lonelier than the fear of, being alone, because what are you dating for? What are you making friends for? For protection? Join a gang, nigga. And I hate to say it like that, because don't join gangs. Gangs ain't nice. Gangs ain't cool.
Nah.
But what I'm saying is, if you need protection, like, don't get in these friendships, relationships expecting somebody to just ride for you, because I'm that friend that's gonna tell you wrong. Now, if we're in public and shit break loose, don't get, of course, by default. But quit jumping in these friendships and relationships to be temporary, to run and leave when shit gets hot. If I can't call you out on your
Right.
bullshit as a friend, definitely can't date you. You definitely shouldn't even be dating. You can't take constructive criticism. And
Yeah.
it's just one of them things that
Oh,
people really gotta, you know, bump down on and really get right if they really want, not even a particular person, but just want better in general. And that was the end of number 3.
and may I have something to say about that? Well, my potential, I'm dating, right now. We went on a few dates so far, and for the first time, I had to pretty much be patient, take it
Mm-hmm.
slow, because uh, my past life, you know what I'm saying, like everything came so fast, I even, smashed on first nights, you know what I'm saying, but it just lets me be aware of just the greatness of
Mm-hmm.
it, to having to earn that spot in our life, because time is very expensive
It is.
and not and non-refundable. So just the fact, you know, me and this woman, just are able to just, sit down at a bar and just talk, eat our food. It's really everlasting, and I just be telling people like these sneaky links and all this, you know, us pull up, you smoke, you drink, and this and that. Like, you're really missing out the
Mm-hmm.
cadence of it. Is because really it's two energies. Like, even though it's multiple energies in one room or one setting, but two energies are entwined and locking. There's no better feeling than that. Like, and I just be trying to explain to people because the internet and social
Mm-hmm.
media made it, lame to be old fashioned. It's okay to, you know, even if you can smash, even if you can get a kiss, wait on that. Cause if anything, like if it's meant to be, then when those things begin to happen, it's gonna be sacred. It's gonna be a different feeling than just, what I'm saying, going to bed, like, yeah, another notch on my belt. But, take it from me, like, from being, you know, very promiscuous in my past, I feel like I'm a newborn
Okay.
person, like, cause I'm able to respect her. Able to respect her boundaries, respect the woman that she is, and also the woman that she could be. So since in that standpoint, she's pretty much making me
Right.
mature, under my eyes, because I'm just like, dang, like what's going on here? I ain't never felt this way before. So it's a great feeling, but it's just a lot of guys and then a lot of girls just feel like, well, if I tell him that I don't want to, do something with him, or if I tell her like, um, let's chill on that, what I'm saying? Like, I might lose
Mm-hmm.
them forever. But hey, what I'm saying? People gotta respect where you coming from, and then also, there's nothing wrong with anybody being checked. You know what I'm saying? Because I get checked a lot, by my friends. I get phone calls and they like, hey, you do it too much. You need to chill. You need to slow down. I may not like it, but I respect
Mm-hmm.
it. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I take what people say into consideration. But I'm like, look, until you pay a bill, till you pay a bill, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, you know, I really analyze it, and I feel like, okay, what outweighs
Yep.
what? You know what I'm saying? And then I've come to a situation, and they were like, okay, I see where they getting at, but they're not here with me every day. They don't know everything I'm doing at every waking minute or second. So it just really be hard to, differentiate between the two. But I feel like, okay, it's good to finally have somebody, who's concerned or who have some type of love, because that's love, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people just think that you just being a party pooper or you being a hater and this and that. That's the first thing, like, oh, you hating and this and that. Like, no, like, you need somebody to tell you, what you're doing, you moving wrong,
Yeah.
and you need to sit down somewhere. Because, a lot of times I just be want to just, go out, hang out and this and that. But hey, I realize also that if I can't control the environment, I can't control the atmosphere, then chances is that, something can
Mm-hmm.
happen. You know what I'm saying? And I may be rushing my demise just by, being disobedient. But it's also just the fact that, like, I seen what it's like,
Mm-hmm.
for someone to lose a child. And I don't want to put my mom through that no more. So a part of me just be chilling. But, I do have like my boys and, my friends come over. And that's the thing, like, that's way better than a club or
Yeah.
better than going to the bar. It's just, having a group of, day ones come over, someone cook, someone play cards, somebody
Yeah.
play music. Man, that's the
It
best,
is.
man. That's the best chill sessions, man. And then, you know what I'm saying? Because I used to be the one that'd be hella drunk and pass out, go to sleep. Somebody put the blanket on me.
Yeah.
Like, thanks for having us, bro. But I miss those times and I miss those things because it's just so A1, man. And but I just suggest, you know, for anybody like who's watching and this and that, when somebody, you know, tells you to slow down, you know, like that's not a good idea and this and that, then they care about you.
I will also play devil's advocate, because I wholeheartedly agree that yes, and that's something that I had to learn last year, because a lot of, I ain't gonna say a lot, but a good amount of friends of mine went celibate, and I just looked like, well, y'all have fun with that. Let me know how it go. But I mean, at the time, I was also getting to know my partner, and one thing I'll say about, you know, celibacy or waiting to have sex is that, one, you learn so much more about yourself, and that's the part that I was failing to understand for my friends that were celibate. Um, just because it's like, in my mind, girl, you punishing yourself. Like, what? You know, trying to understand and make sense of it. But no, you learn about, you know, what you like or what it is that drives you to want to have sex so fast and things like that. For some people, it's just to see how long they can go. Like, there's so many different goals, but whatever that goal is, I wholeheartedly try to, you know, support people that do, because I know who can't, and that's me. So, with that being said, I feel like once you put yourself in a position to have sex, of course, you're not grown, but you're making a grown decision.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I was really big on, I'm not having sex the first night, all the way up until a certain point. And to this day, of course, now I'm in a relationship, but even before him, I wasn't big on that because, like you said, get to know me. Like, it is what it is. But then also, I did start having, or I had sex with a partner on the first night, and it brought so much to my attention. Because what do you like? Like, now you're bringing something in that overcompensates for what you don't like, and you don't know you don't like it yet because you don't know this person. But so
Right.
there's that. Sex definitely is blinding, and I see why people wait, because sex makes a big difference. Like, man, I put up with this shit if, be transparent, the head straight, or I put up with this shit if, you know, I know she can do this, he can do that. I put up with this just to get this one thing or this one transaction. You get to settle at that point. But when it's just pure and
Mm-hmm.
organic, nah, I ain't like that shit. And you don't know what the sex feels like, it's easier to pull out. No pun intended. But 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 it gets easier to withdraw. It ain't no way to make that shit sound good at this point.
No, it is what it is.
So
It
it,
is
you
what it
know,
is.
you lose that. And now I understand. But I will also say, if people would allow themselves to put pride to the side, and that's all it is, because you honestly, there shouldn't be a problem with casual sex if that's what you want to do, but you have to be real enough with yourself to understand, hey, this is all it's gonna be, and that's what we don't do as black, I ain't going to say as black men, but as men, I being on the being the opposite sex, the way that I see it is, of course, just like how you said with the women that, or people, let's smoke, let's link. Of course I'm gonna be a salesperson in front of you, nigga. I want your weed, and that's as a woman. You know, of course I'm gonna do this because I'm getting something free. I'm getting a free service, and if I gotta play cute and be in your face for all of 5 minutes to 3 hours, I just gotta deal with you in that quantity. So it's not, that's why dates aren't a big deal to me when it comes to spending money, because what are you learning besides how much a person is willing, how much of a sucker somebody is, to a degree? Because I'm sorry, if it comes down to you only spent 150 on me, girl, that's a phone bill. What you mean? Like, only 150. Stuff like that. And I also have had a friend recently Well, we had to ask. A relationship didn't work out, and they start talking about, well, we did all this stuff together. So we start, I asked, well, what is all this stuff? And the things that were mentioned were all, well, we did this together, we did this together. Comedy shows, going out to eat, movies, shit that you can't talk to somebody, during. You're observing together. Y'all might have observed that some shit was funny together, but you don't know why that joke was funny to the other person. Like, you're not taking time to get to know them because you're buying a person out. And then when it does come to, well, let's get to know one another, and they pull back, I wasn't ready for all that. What do you mean? I spent all this money and you became my purse. And that goes for men too. I kid you not, and I'll share this story because it's funny to me looking back. I had this crush on this guy in college. And this is when I was trying to figure out, because I had never done it, can I do a sneaky link without catching feelings? So I'm testing myself. I remember he said he was hungry, and I had a couple dollars. I got him some Wendy's. He met me outside my dorm with the food, went to go pick up another girl, and they ate my Wendy's together. Like, could I be mad? No. I mean, because there was nothing there, and I hadn't even had this person yet. But that's what I'm getting to. Like, the financial shit. My first date with my current boyfriend was a park. It was free. Free 99. But that was the best date I have ever been on in my life to this day. And our second date ended up being Atlanta. How you go from a park to Atlanta. But that's how much was built. To learn and get to know what the other person likes, to know where this person wants to go. And then together, we, came up with a plan for Atlanta. If you do this, I'll do this, or, just kind of splitting costs without having to say what. And that's where the foundation is built versus, oh, I got these tickets to this Boosie concert. Ain't nobody going to see Boosie, but I'm going to just use it anyway. I got tickets to this Boosie concert. You want to go? Hell yeah, I want to go, because even if I don't like you, I know I'm going to like that experience. And I'm not saying don't date or don't, you know what I'm saying, but just be mindful of who you're dating. And unfortunately, with social media, you may have a girl. I know I gained weight over the year. You may want to not show all your skin, but show some skin. And based off of perception, she a hoe. She going. She posting pictures in a swimsuit. Little did you know she went on vacation with her family. You know what I'm saying? But you take that shit and you make what you think it is, because you have in your mind, these are social media or Instagram girls. This is the girl of my dreams, quote unquote. When in reality, that girl sleep on a twin mattress on the floor. Or in reality, she's a really good girl. But you only get what you assume based off of a picture that she posted or a status that she made. And that's where all of that turns back into, all right, so are you trying to impress her financially because that's what you think? Or did she say, I need a big baller to spend X, Y? And then in that case, why did your broke ass get up to say you could fulfill it? It goes so many different ways, but it's pride. And if we just say what we want, and don't get me wrong, nobody likes rejection, but it happens every day in life. Every day.
Yeah.
And I mean,
And
whether it's your card declining, that's a rejection.
Yeah.
And that's more embarrassing to me than a private DM of somebody not wanting to talk to me, because that shit happened with somebody in line. And they saw my card decline. Now you gotta do the hold the hell up. I know it's money in here. You know how people do. So, and when it's in private, just in a personal message, it is what it is. But that's where people, well, fuck you too. Then no, it ain't even like that. People just ain't. Everybody ain't meant to get along with everybody. And I feel that once people are real with themselves and then can come forward. Example, I got a homeboy, and I'm so proud of him. I had to dap him up after he said it. A girl was, I miss you, and whoop-de-whoop. He was like, I ain't gonna lie, I don't like all that because I told you I'm in this for one thing and I know what this can lead to. So I'm just gonna nip it in the bud now. And if you don't want to talk to me after this, I understand. But can we please not do the I miss yous like we on a so and so basis? The
Mm-hmm.
girl, and that's the thing. A lot of times there's a fear that somebody's gonna take that the wrong way when you don't give that person the opportunity to agree or disagree. Like, I'm sorry, but to the men out there, do you know how many women would be willing to just have sex with you if you just lay it on the table that that's all that you want? Don't make this game. Don't try to get to know who my great grandmother was because you trying to get in my pants. Like, I may want the same thing and we may be sitting here faking this thing out, but just say it. And at the end of the day, even if it comes off as damn, that's all you wanted, guess what? It is on. Can you just appreciate the message being in your face? Please? Because it
Yeah.
was said. And at that, he thought I was he didn't think you was a hoe. He just told you what you wanted, what he wanted. She didn't think you was X, Y, and Z. She just wanted one thing, but it was such a broad thing that it made you start thinking elsewhere. Let's be real. When people start sending us these messages, accept them and make your decision. And have nothing but respect at the end of the day. Don't get me wrong, if the nigga like, or a woman is like, hey, I just want to, slut you out, or I just want to do X, Y, and Z. I don't even want, like, saying it bluntly, of course, that could alter your decision. But at the end of the day, it was still blunt in your face. Like, don't get mad at people for telling you what they want and then get mad when you get played by the people who don't. And that sounds harsh, but it's all a reality. And at the end of the day, the person who didn't made you start going above and beyond and maybe over explaining and overdoing to get to, a end goal that could have been acknowledged or seen a long time ago. Or you have a person tell you straight up what it is, and now you turn into niggas ain't shit, people just ain't shit. Nah, they just told, like, if I want a McDouble in a orange high C, that's all I want. That's all I want. Like, am I wrong because you gave me a chicken and
No.
I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, this ain't what I agree. And that's just what it is. And it sounds so blunt and so harsh, and it to certain people. But at the end of the day, it's just a simple, it's a transaction. And the
Mm-hmm.
delivery is definitely important. But at the same time, if I say they shoot and run, it shouldn't matter if I say somebody has drawn their firearm and struck. Get the nigga, they shoot and run. Like, like, just take it and hurry up and get them out your. If it's some bullshit, get them out your face quicker. Block them. We too prideful to block people. I will say that. If you don't just hit that damn button or unfriend, like, why? And it's all like, I know people probably like, this girl done went all over the place, but all this shit literally ties into the type of people that we attract, for one, the type of things that we settle for two, and thirdly, because sometimes we're so narrow-minded and we don't take the time to, know thyself or know yourself, that some of this goes over your head, or some of y'all might personally feel attacked right now. When in reality, that's not what the case is. It's someone trying to help you. It's some words you don't want to hear. But I mean, compare it to listening to a song on the radio, but you can't turn the station because it's the only station available, but it's some country shit. Like, just, keep it at what it is. Like, okay, yes, this is not what I want. I can either, one, turn it off, or I can either let it be what it is. And we have to quit settling for what it is. And I think that as Black men, definitely just say what it is that you want, and say it with your chest. Because when you don't, there's so much gray area, and then both people are left with, where did I go wrong? And that's not fair, because sometimes, like I said, it's right in our face. And also, when people start doing things like abuse, or start to, whether it's verbal, mental, or physical, once that first sign is there, you, like, take that sign and assess. And maybe you can't get out in that, moment or situation. But when are you going to make the decision for yourself that you don't deserve it? And maybe you harboring onto something in the past and you feel like you do. Man, if you don't give it to God and go, like, it's easier said than done. But nobody deserves, you know, physical punishment, insecurities, or doing it out of, I just felt like it today. Homie, control your emotions. That sounds personal. And although you're abusive, you may need counseling. Ain't nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong with, offering help. Hey, this may be what the case is, or maybe you're seeing signs. Maybe it's a friend. Let's take ourselves out of relationships. Maybe it's your friend and they're doing it. Hey, bruh, hey, sis, this, I've noticed this over X amount of time. Like, we got to nip this in the bud. You want to try counseling? And even if you don't want to try counseling, there's so many different areas and ways of just, channeling it. And we don't realize that. And I'll be honest, I have, out of everything I've gone through, I would love to go to therapy. I have not yet. I have looked. I'm really, really, really looking for a Black therapist. To be honest with you, so that has been my slowdown. And then I have some sort of special insurance, so anybody take my shit. But with all that being said, like, take that, or take, if you're in college, every college has a mental health crisis either hotline or center. It is against the law, like HIPAA, to disclose anything that you're going through to any, just any and everyone, unless it's life threatening, then authorities get involved. But that outlet is important. That outlet is crucial. And it's one of those things for the people that may be listening that are going through it. I feel like there's no advice that I can give except for, when you're ready to come out. And not only do you know when you're ready to come out, once you get out and you realize your worth or realize what's better, there's no way to explain how hard you're gonna want to smack yourself when you get to really see, I dealt with this. And then that's when you start pulling back. Damn, bro, and the sex was trash. Damn, and I was paying for everything. What did I stay for? Like, that's gonna happen. Don't beat yourself up too hard, because you already did in the relationship or enduring it. But it's all a growing pain. And unfortunately, it's one of them things where you either go barbecue or mildew. You either accept it, learn from it, keep going, or you don't accept it and keep hurting people or hurt yourself. So out of all the 50 million different things that I said, I promise you they all draw back into this one thing. Choose yourself, love yourself, and also know that people are human. You're human. Nobody deserves to just go through something because somebody had a bad day, or because maybe you haven't forgiven yourself of something in the past. That does not mean that you get to let somebody else be that karma for you. And once you choose you, and once you realize, as a Black man, Black woman, person of any color, how beautiful and true life really is, and you are living in your destiny and your faith, you'll scare that person even more. And they may even just go. But you just have to start inside. Be real with yourself. If you feel like, maybe I do too much for him, you probably do. If you feel like, man, I feel like she just don't give a damn about me, she probably don't. Like, I'm not saying, go above and beyond and fuck you, you ain't shit, but nah, it ain't right. Make that decision. As my homegirl Kenosha says, we either gonna barbecue or mildew. We grilling this summer, niggas. It's hot. Ain't we not molding. We not turning into, some shit that could kill us or to kill someone else. It's not worth it.
Man, it's always a pleasure talking to you, man. Because I swear, like, Did you get an opportunity to watch the part one that we done?
I watched about half of part one, and it was no. The only reason I watched half was because I think we ended up doing about what 2 hours. It was pretty
Yeah.
lengthy. So but one thing I can say, I don't really know. I did a terrible job with trying to promote this time, and I apologize for that. Something that I'm doing right now is from the hours of 6 o'clock to 2:30 every day. I try my hardest not to get on social media because I try to be as productive as I can be within work hours. And I'm the type to wake up. I don't like waking up as it is. Like, I'm not a morning person. So I'm at the point now where I try to get up, work out, or the only thing I can check on my phone is the time in my email. If I try to open any apps, it blocks me because I'm really
Mm-hmm.
trying to develop that discipline. It seems minor, like what the fuck, but that's one of those things. Like, if you don't care about your time, but people keep wasting it, what are you doing? So definitely in the next time I'll have to take them restrictions off. But um I know that a few people told me they would tune in. Last time I had family on deck. Like,
Oh yes, you did.
people
They
was
came in
watching,
droves.
people was texting me, don't forget to shout out your niece. Hey Taylor, this time. But I don't even know if you on today, but I know for a fact that there was people that also tried to make sure I was okay and make sure I was comfortable. So I got so many different recaps with all that being said from so many different people on how it went, or things that nobody really told me what I could have included. But it was just a lot of people that were speechless because, I mean, even my mom was on that live, and I'm sure I said things on there that I never told her. Which, though, that's the hardest thing because my mom is my ride or die, my best friend, that's my sister mom. That's what I call her. She had me at 20. We grew up together. That's how I look at it. So people don't understand our relationship. My mom always taught us to be free and speak our truths. We knew who we were as far as identity goes at a very young age, and we are to this day, all four of us, including my mom, very unapologetic about that. And that's something I applaud and pride myself on. But getting some of that shit out and knowing, hey mom, she's right there, it's like, oh shit, yeah, mama, that happened 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm all right though, as you see. So the feedback that I got was like, man. And sometimes after doing these things, I can't speak for all people who go through it, but some people fall into the we're reliving it, and then some people reflect, and I'm the reflector. And sometimes with
Mm-hmm.
reflecting, you may shed a happy tear or a damn, I realize I ain't really 100% over this tear. But after that call, I really took a step back and just thought to myself, like, did I really serve my purpose? Like, did I really come here and do what I was set to do? Because I remember there was a year I spoke in front of people at WKU, and I was speaking against, domestic violence. But what nobody knew was right before that show, or right before that forum, I had just got out of a domestic situation and went right back into one right after I spoke. And I felt like a hypocrite for years. You know what I'm saying? Like, how am I trying to save
Mm-hmm.
people? I can't save my fucking self. Like, that's how I felt. So anytime I do these, anytime I can speak to someone, I feel very empowered and honored that there are people out there like yourself that are willing to, go that extra mile. See, your glass is fogging, nigga. No, I'm playing. I'm
I know,
playing.
right?
But no, there are people out there such as yourself that aren't trying to bring it on a light note. It's not. We get into the raw and uncut because, as you said, it's not just women. It's not. I mean, I honestly feel like there may be more men than women, but because of the dynamic, and because you have men that don't want to speak out, or you have men that do, and then it gets dumbed down. Well, you a man, what you crying about it for? And that is overlooked often. I've seen women just straight up strike somebody because they felt upset. And one thing my mom taught me or reminded me, because I told y'all I was out here being damn Indiana Jenkins, not giving a damn whooping ass. Um, I had to remember I have little brothers, and if a woman puts their hands on them, my mom has never taught anybody to just, beat a woman's ass because she put hands on you, but I will restrain your ass. And if that
Mm-hmm.
requires a full Nelson or requires me to hold your arms back, or, and it may hurt, but it's not that I'm trying to hurt you. I'm trying to protect me. And that made me, that amped me up, because at that point now I gotta, whoop whoever comes at my brothers. And that really made me chill out. And then I think about the person that I'm dating now and how even in the worst moments, I've never thought to lay a hand on him. I've never resorted to anything that I have ever endured. And I've never been like, man, just one hit, just one smack. Nothing like that. And it's all about the people that you bring into your life. And also outside of that relationship, I had never put hands on anybody before or after that. So, man, it comes with being the change you want to see after a while. And although it took that messed up journey and it took 4 years, I want to say I was going into year 2 and my jaw got broken. So that tells you I went through it for another two more years. But there's so much better. There's so much more out there. And even if it's not dating, date yourself. Like, yo, quick thing before we conclude, because I know you probably like, we got to go soon. Start going to the movies by your damn self. Listen, like, it's so
And for
fun.
real.
It is so freaking fun. Like, before COVID, I used to take myself to this sushi bar because they had a good 2-for-1. I get drunk and take myself to the movies. I am fun as hell by myself at the movies. And that's something that I wouldn't have learned had I not went and just did. Also, get over the stigma of eating alone. I didn't know it
Mm-hmm.
was a stigma until someone brought it to my attention. So I tested it and took myself out to eat. And at first it was kind of like, it is kind of weird, not having nobody right here. But then we took it another extent. Do not just sit in your phone the whole time you sitting at the table either. So you really sitting there left to deal with yourself. And there were certain things that I got on my own damn nerves about. And it was like, oh yeah, you got to change this because you don't want to be out here slapping yourself. This is crazy, But had I not took that time, and even with that for men, I was getting like a pedicure or some sort of service done that day as well, to just self-care, to make myself feel good. This was before my skincare line. Men, start getting manicures and pedicures or something. I promise you, like, you're gonna feel like the baddest nigga on the block. But it's cool. Like, take the time to learn what you like. Learn what you like despite what's feminine and what's masculine. Because you know what I'm saying? It's just you taking care of yourself when it comes to, taking yourself out to eat, getting your feet done. Hell, for y'all to maybe get a child.
Man, I had them
I saw.
pedicures, like, man, when I tell you, like, that was so
Mm-hmm.
relaxing, like the chair, which is like, so getting on them, oh my
And I
gosh,
don't know if
like,
yours had wine, but I get wine whenever I go. So,
I don't know what it was, but it was funny because like she was rubbing my big old feet and just touching my ankles and stuff, almost desecrated in the chair. I was like, oh my god, like,
yeah. And then
like,
the first couple times
woo.
it tickles is what I was told because you're not used to it. But I promise you, by the time they get to the hot towels, you're gonna be somewhere stretched out.
Man, I was gone. Like, shoot, I would have had went home with her. How she treated me.
That's how I feel
Oh
about
my.
massages. But definitely, and that's another thing too. Get a damn massage. Like, take care of yourself, black men, for real. Like, whether it's once a week, once a month, start off smaller, once a month. That way, if you got to process how it felt, do it. You got a whole time span to realize if this is something you want to do again. But once we get to self-heal, and that's the thing too, everybody goes through a trauma, whether it's big or small. Like, I don't care if it's the trauma of somebody moving from, the city where they got Starbucks and now you in the rural area and it ain't shit. Like, that's big for somebody. Some people can adapt. Some people are stronger than others. If we all as people just go out, find out what we like, and put out what we want to receive, a lot of the stuff that is being mentioned in, this conversation and in this session could easily be omitted. It just all starts with yourself. Meditation is something I can't speak a lot on, but it's something my brother that I was telling y'all about earlier has been challenging me on. He'll text me, I challenge you to do 5 minutes of meditation today. And it's just something that helps. It makes that difference. If you don't want therapy, start talking to yourself. Listen to your inner self. I call your inner self your energy, your inner God, because that's your conscience talking to you. When you hear that, don't do that. That don't sound good. Listen to it, but also know that there's some sense within you somewhere, and you know right from wrong, and you know when you're entering a dangerous or hazardous situation. Listen to it.
Man, right on. I feel it, man. Like, it's just so much I learned from you tonight, because the first time it was more like, you was, given a recollection.
Yeah.
But now it's a resurrection.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It's funny because I didn't think of it that way, but I think the first time it was just kind of like, I ain't never did this for my hometown. So you just never know who's looking. I mean, I got DMs. If you ever go through anything like that again, you hit us up first. I bust a nigga any day for you. You know that. Oh, my bad, y'all. 4 years later or whatever the case may be, like, damn, I should have called you, bruh. I really should have called your ass.
Man,
I
they
can't
wouldn't
get
done.
y'all
They
niggas
would
to
have done
visit me
shit,
for
man.
fun. You gonna come shoot a nigga though, right? I'm playing, but that's you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying. And I appreciated all of the concern and all the love. I really did. But it was just kind of like that old shit moment. I really felt not even being funny. I feel like I was going on like a legit, and you are a legit talk serious. But I feel like I'm going on Oprah or something. I'm like, let me come fully. Then I'm trying to hide that I'm high. You like, well, oh shit, say less. Drop that. Like, I really came in trying to make sure I got the message across, and now I do feel like I can be laid back and this is what it was, this is what it is, and this is how I got out of it, and this is what I'm doing to stay out of it.
Exactly. I mean, everything is just to prepare us for the next
Mm-hmm.
time. So, just like when somebody was young and got bullied, that bully prepared them for a lifetime of bullshit. Like, if you got a job or you go to school and somebody at your job or in class or classes
Mm-hmm.
that's, making it the job or the class as difficult than it has to be, but you still gotta go.
Right. Right.
If you don't work, you don't eat. So I go through a lot of just unnecessary bullshit, but it's just, you know, every experience prepares you for another experience. But also, you realize once you go through something like that, it just, gets you a sense of, everybody
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like my monster,
Yeah. And it
and
teaches you what, how do I explain it? It kind of teaches you to a degree, and I hate that it has to be that kind of lesson, but shit is gonna hit the fan. It's always gonna hit the fan. And unfortunately,
yeah,
like for people who were bullied, I try to use bully loosely because I was always small. I was an easy target. But I guess if you look at it today, it would be bullying. And I want a lot of y'all sagging on niggas' asses. But it's all love. But unfortunately, it does have to happen. So we develop, one, either that tough skin, or two, you know, to learn how to be untouchable. Because once you go through something like what I went through, unfortunately I think it sucks, but sometimes I don't have a sense of seriousness when danger arises because of what I went through. Or like example, when I moved here, like when I learned about where the hoods are in Nashville, I'm like, nigga, I'm from Saginaw, Michigan. That ain't no damn hood. You know, we
Right.
don't go down this street at night. And here I am putting my big toe on the day on the pavement at midnight because try me. You know what I'm saying? But when you try, when you go looking, you get answers. And we do that and just kind of dumb it down, or this ain't that. Start listening seriously. Like the second that you think it, of course you're gonna have your doubts, but and if that's the case, give it 2 strikes. But you can't give it 3. Like, fool me one time, shame on you. But after that second one, like, you know it's bad business. You know it's sabotage. It's self-sabotage. And nobody deserves that whatsoever.
No.
It takes some time,
And
but it definitely is not deserved by anyone.
yeah, and also just, karma is undefeated. Karma always been the baddest bitch that I ever known. So, whoever, saying did that to you, and whoever did that to me, shoot, they're not gonna prosper
Mm-hmm.
because they get in theirs, and eventually, you know, you, boss up and everything like that. That nigga probably gonna be outside in the rain with holding a cup, with a sign, and probably gonna try to cause many accidents because people trying to read the sign, and then all types of shit. So I would just say, sis, just keep on doing you, being happy, stay beautiful, and all this other stuff, because it takes a beautiful person to, you know, walk out of something so ugly.
Definitely. And just to piggyback what you said, yeah, karma's the baddest bitch. And when you think about it, you got so many people, men too, if we're gonna be real, trying to be the baddest bitch out here, trying to play karma. And that's where people
Mm-hmm.
get it messed up too. You don't play karma, karma happens. Like, to a
Yeah.
degree, we can say that about murders, killings. We try to play God. We try to play, you know, things to be fair in our mind when it's designed to naturally happen, but maybe you accelerated the process, but now you got karma on your head. It's like taking out a loan to pay a loan. So keep that in mind also. Like, yes, somebody can do you wrong. I ain't saying you got to be 1,000% fair and turn other cheek, because that's hard. But at the same time, going through shit that we went through, it teaches you what to respond to and how to respond to it. Because, like, my mom doesn't understand, or I won't say she doesn't, but we talked about that too. When it comes to jobs, if somebody got her fucked up, she gonna let them have it. Versus, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like, especially with everything I've went through, yeah, when a job has me fucked up, depending on what it is and depending on what I'm getting paid, it's not that the dollar matters, but it's that you want me to react. You want me to come out of bag. You want me to come out of character so you can take or help me lose whatever I've learned or gained. Once it's taken from me, I'm acting a motherfucking fool. By all means, because you've taken my livelihood from me, and that could result in your livelihood being taken or your life being taken. Like, that's how we look at it. But I'm not responding because you feel a way that I presented at a meeting and you didn't. Boss up, nigga. Like, you just gotta really, it really helps distinguish what's worth even getting a response to. And that's something that people don't realize. Like, boy, that they got me fucked up, I'm gonna say something. No, not always, because sometimes that's their way of getting your attention to talk to you and sabotage you. But once you know what's real, and once you know, she can be mad all day, or with the job thing, Karen can be pissed all day, but until Karen touch me, or until Karen is the reason I get fired, I ain't gonna whoop Karen ass, because she worked the same 9 to 5 I'm working. And
That's the
that's my
truth.
last TED talk of the day. But yeah, seriously, that you are what you respond to thing starts to get real serious, especially when you go through some shit like this. Because I remember hearing the word bitch and being like, "Oh, you got me, man. Is that all you got?"
Right.
Cause you know, and that's just how it is. And then when I get in situations, I'd be like, you know what, this can't be as bad as April 3rd, April 4th of 2017. And from
Mm-hmm.
there, boom. So it just, take it for what it is.
So, like I said, I really happy that you came back, and
Anytime.
I'm almost on a liquor, so I'm gonna have to shut this off in a second. Hey man, I'm just real, you know what I'm saying? I'm a real nigga over here.
No, I totally feel you. As it sobers up, all right, time to cut.
Right, I'm sober. But I'm not drunk though. It's just
You gotta have your buzz
the,
though.
the
I
con-
feel you.
yeah, it's just the conversation really sobered me up a lot, you know, because at the end of the day, it was just like, man, this is just, some wisdom, that's just let you know when some real shit is being feed into you, and pretty much, it's just gonna outweigh whatever
Mm-hmm.
is gonna cancel out any and every distraction. But I was just really like astounded just by just the other things and stuff. But I would say that you have grown so much,
Thank
and
you.
and it's like I say, like I tell people this all the time. The goal is to not be a victim.
Yes.
You know, anybody can go through things. Anybody been through
Mm-hmm.
things, but the goal, the ultimate goal, is not to look like a victim, but be a
A
survivor. Like,
warrior.
and you can be that. Yeah, be a warrior, and you be that voice. For people who actually is going through some things and stuff like that. And shoot, my job every day, just is to make sure that everybody's could learn from every guest I bring on my show, and then it's just the because we all
Mm-hmm.
are one, and that's the thing, like just never forget who you are.
Amen to that. And I'm listening, but Frankie was getting deep in these comments. I was sitting here
I
scrolling like,
know. I
oh,
was
he preaching.
he came on my show a few weeks ago, and he pretty very insightful, man. That's a very intelligent man. Like I really just like when it comes to everybody, like, because I went to school with mostly a lot of them, so it's just a blessing just to have people from the past, like, to come back and just give an update or give a story,
Mm-hmm.
and he put my TV up for me too, so that was love.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check it out if you can. After do you have the footage or is that on your old page?
It's on my
It's on
YouTube.
cool. I'll check it out on YouTube then, even better.
Well, I hate to do this, but we gonna make sure, because we gonna have to have a part 3, man. I really enjoyed talking to you, man. Like, this is
But
dope.
just anytime, let me know. It's never an issue, never an inconvenience. I was excited when you asked. I started you up. You said 7:30, right? So no, I enjoy it just as much as you love doing this show. I mean, it's an honor, it's a privilege, and I love supporting the hometown any way that I can, for real. So thank you, and keep doing what you do.
Oh,
I mean, even
oh, thank
lead
you.
the way, be the way, and since niggas is trying to take your way, like I said, you're obviously doing something right. And it
Right.
sucks that it's at the cost of what you love to do sometimes, but I mean, some of the greatest have went through, a lot. Like Michael Jackson, even with all the hell, the legacy, Prince,
Mm-hmm.
legacy. I mean, I feel like you can't be an icon without some sort of controversy. So always keep that in mind for
Absolutely.
yourself. And like I said, it's gonna suck. Allow yourself in 24, 48 hours to be pissed off, but you gotta keep it barbecue and mildew. So you got it,
No
boss.
doubt. Thank you.
Hmm.
But yeah, you had yourself a wonderful night, and also I really appreciate you, love you, and you be safe out
Love
here.
you always. And whenever y'all, because like I said, people from Saginaw never come to Nashville. Whenever you want to come down, just hit me. I'm here. You always got, an outlet, or if you ever just want to explore, it's a big city. Like you said, people don't get to leave. Um, and it's funny, Saginaw's a small circle, Nashville a big circle. Once you leave, you get to realize how small big things to us really are. So that
Right.
invitation is out to you as well. And as always, it's a pleasure and thank you.
I will.
All
Bye.
right, bye.